Alright, for this video, I wanted to talk about flying with tools. So, as a controls engineer, sometimes you have to go out of state, you gotta fly somewhere or whatever, and you gotta take tools with you when you're in the field, you're going into plants. You gotta install sensors, adjust equipment. Sometimes you gotta install kits with like air cylinders and airlines and all that kind of stuff. So you're dealing with mechanical stuff, you're dealing with electrical stuff, so maybe you gotta run some electrical connectors, wires, you need wiring tools like voltmeters, crimpers, strippers, and all that stuff. So you gotta take those tools with you when you're flying. And when I first started out, I didn't have much money, so I wanted to find the best budget flying toolbox. And I came across this Ridgid job site toolbox. If you look at their stackable line, this is like a little bit longer and skinnier than their normal stand-up system. So they call this the job site box. And what I liked about this one was it was long enough where if I had to carry something, a little longer, like a small level or something like that, I can put it in here. But I'd have room for tools, a hard hat, and steel-toe boots, which I need those to get in the plants. So I came across this, and I did like that it had the smaller profile wheels. So some of these job site boxes you'll see, like Milwaukee or the other Ridgid one that they make, or all the other brands too, they'll have these giant wheels, and those are great if you're going like off-road, like you have to go through some gravel or something like that. Those are great. But when you're going through the airport system, right, you're going and they're tossing your luggage all over, those are low-hanging fruit to get knocked off, right? With these tiny tires, they've held up great. So I've flown with this setup probably 8 to 10 times, round trips, and it survived. There is a couple things that I don't like about it, and so I moved on. But I want to talk about this. So if you have to start out in industry and you're looking for a box to carry tools while you fly, I would recommend this as an entry one. There is a couple of things I would suggest you use to improve it for increasing its survivability through the airport system. So what I would do is I put my toolbox in here. So I got my tool bag in here right now. So this is an example. And so I put my tools in here, and then I put my hard hat and boots on the other side of it. So I've used this bag, I used a couple other ones, but this keeps all the tools together. They're not flying all over. They're not building up speed, so like when your stuff is getting tossed around, you're not letting your tools like get up speed and impact the side of your toolbox and create damage or whatever. So you want to bag that stuff up if you can. So either do a bag like this or do some kind of canvas bag, even a cheap one, just to keep all your tools together so they're not flying around. Highly recommend that. So for lessons learned with this box, what I did, so I had the TSA security locks on here, and they would get busted off. So they're hanging out here off the front, exposed. And whatever, when they're tossing boxes and luggage around, they just get knocked off. So I'd get there to pick up my luggage, and my lock would be gone. So, and those are the ones that they're supposed to have the universal keys. And that I really intended those really just to keep these latches closed, because these latches aren't made for flying, so they can pop off, and I don't want my tools dumping everywhere and all my stuff, right? So I really use the TSA locks just to keep these latches closed. This tab that comes out here for the lock is plastic, and this one's plastic. I think it's metal, like a sheet metal with a plastic shroud around it. These are not very strong. They get bent, and you have to bend them back to get these latches to open. So you have to watch out for that. I did have one box where the latch actually flew off. So these latches aren't made for it, but they will last at least a few trips anyways. So, sorry about the kids crying. It's alright, it'll be okay. So latches are hit or miss, but they do work. You can make them work. Just be careful around those. I went to Velcro loops, so I went to like a Velcro strap you use for tying down cables. I'd run that through here just to keep the latches closed, and if they have to get in here and inspect something or investigate something when they run through their scanners or whatever, they could easily get in there and check out what they need to, and then close it back up with the Velcro loop. So I put those on just to keep those latches closed. These pins that hold this handle on, these would work out, so they'd slowly kind of come out, and I have to push those in. So I think those are just friction pushed in. So I'll glue those in, at least on the end here. Maybe put some epoxy or JB Weld or something on the outside here just to retain those pins. They will work out. That's just from them bouncing the luggage around or whatnot. So the Ridgid job site box has a free-floating handle here. So this just kind of sits here, has like a little retainer inside, but there's nothing like positively latching it in here, so it can slide out. And you don't want that with the luggage flying around to get bent over. So what I did is I had a Velcro, strip of Velcro, and not longer one than this, and I'd Velcro it to this top latch that you use for stacking the crates and locking them together. So right before I checked the bag and handed it over to put on the belt, I would latch this and keep it the rest of the flight. And then when I got it back, I just pop that off, take it this way, and be on my way. So I use this for my tools, my hard hat, and boots. And then I took one of the other Ridgid boxes, so the big size one, and I would put my clothes and stuff in here, and shampoo and all that stuff. And so these lock together, which is nice, so then I could pull this behind me with the handle on the wheels through the airport. The only thing I didn't like about this is it's super skinny, but all your weight is hanging out here. So I get really tipsy, so it's really iffy when you're going up and down escalators. So just be aware of that when you're handling it. You might have to use two hands to kind of keep it from tipping over on you. But otherwise, if you're going across the flat surface, it's awesome. So I used this for a while, and then really I just kind of ran out of room with this setup. I didn't really care about the latches breaking on me a little bit. I did take them in Ridgid or Home Depot, just replace them, no questions asked, the whole case. So that's a plus with that system. So then I moved on from there to this Pelican case. So this is the 1650, so which is like the biggest one you can get that maxes out all of the dimensions without being considered oversized. So my intention with this one, I haven't gone through and flown with this yet, but I'm just still testing it out. So I want to do the same test. So I think I can get my tool bag to lay in here. This one might not work that well, so I might have to turn it sideways. If I turn this sideways, I can put my hard hat and boots along the front here, my clothes on this side, and close it up. And so I'm going to try running just this one case. So this is what I'm on to next. This is definitely way more pricey. I only paid like $60 for the Ridgid job site box, and that was on sale. I think they float around $80 or $90 now. And the Pelican case here, I think was close, if not over $300. But these latches, this case is the air version, so this is made for flying. So I'm hoping this holds out a lot better. I might go to a different tool bag that's a little more condensed without all these extra pockets I don't even use on the outside because I don't want my tools flying out. So I think that's what I'm going to do for the next season of work, is to go to this box, go to a smaller tool bag that's more condensed, maybe just a straight canvas bag. I think Klein makes some of those, and I might look at getting on one of those. I just wanted to share my experience with the Ridgid one and then transitioning to this Pelican case and what I've learned with the Ridgid, so I kind of know what I need and what I want. So hopefully that information about that Ridgid box helps you. And then like I said, if you're getting into the industry, you don't have much money to throw around, maybe that Ridgid would suit you until you can get enough money saved up to get something like this. But hopefully that helps you out. See you guys.